This call
Yes,
is
ma'am.
now.
Okay. Roshan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Akash. Vishal.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're from which place, Vishal?
Bagikot, ma'am.
Huh? Bagalkot. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Can you all see the slides here? Can you all see the slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in the previous session, we have seen that about the what is the technique of parboiling. That is to retain the nutrients of the rice instead of milling and all. Because of milling, lot of vitamin B complexes, especially B1, that will be lost from the milling process. So just to prevent that and increase the nutritive value of the rice grain, a procedure that has been recommended by CFTRI, that is Central Food Research Technological Institute of Mysore. This point you have to just remember. So of Mysore, sometimes these factual questions can be asked. So according to this, the paddy first, it has to be, whatever the paddy we take, it has to be kept in the hot water at a temperature of 65 to 70 degrees. This is a very important point to be noted because already MCQ has been asked on this. Then it has to be the paddy or the rice grains, whatever is there, which is not dehusked. That is what a rice grain, whatever is there, its outer layer is not removed. So such rice grains has to be put in this hot water for 3 to 4 hours. Then after that you remove all that hot water. Then put this rice grain for steaming. Then put the same thing for sorry, for steaming for another 5 to 10 minutes. Then you put this entire thing under the sun and dry it. Then again you mill. Milling means what? You are just polishing and removing the outer covering of that rice grain. Yes. So the thing is that why I'm stressing here is that already questions has been asked related to the technique of parboiling, that is heating, or you need to heat the water, then put the paddy in that, then after heating, then you are doing what? Steaming, then after that drying, then after that milling. Got the point? Are you all clear here, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so heating, steaming, drying, milling. So what is the temperature of heating here? 65 to 70 degrees. This is very, very important. Then what are the advantages of parboiling? So advantages is that vitamins. What is that vitamin which we are interested here, students?
Vitamin A.
Roshan, Akash, Vishal,
Thiamine.
Smriti. So it is vitamin B1, that is thiamine. So our main intention is preservation of the thiamine and other minerals. So they will be like tightly packed in the rice grains. And then what will happen? The nutritive value of the rice grain will increase. Along with that, the grain will become very hard and it will be resistant to insect invasion. So it won't get spoiled very soon. But the problem with this, what will happen parboiling, the rice taste or the flavor, whatever is there, that will be little bit altered. So we may not like eating such type of parboiled rice. Yes. So this technique is very important: heating, steaming, drying, milling, and the temperature is 65 to 70 degrees. Already question has been asked on this. Now what is this golden rice? Students, can you tell me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Gold,
It's a combination of the vitamin B plus beta carotene. Vitamin A plus beta carotene. And
vitamin A
which
and yes, Roshan. Beta
yes, ma'am.
carotene, vitamin A, same, right?
Beta carotene and ma'am, that is the iron, ma'am. Rich.
Yes, very good. Now, golden rice means it is actually a genetically engineered rice. So, in this,
Modified.
what is happening is that the rice grain, whatever is there, so genetically they modified this rice grain and they have designed the seeds in such a way that they contain very high amount of what? Beta carotene. So, this beta carotene is what, students? It is a precursor of vitamin A. Vitamin A. And why it is called as golden rice? Look at the picture over here. Somewhat because of the presence of high quantity of beta carotene, it looks little bit golden in color. That's why it is called as golden rice. Now, why this particular rice has been created by us? Naturally, it never occurs. It is we humans who have created this particular rice grain. So, what is the intention of this? Because in most of the South Asian countries, there is what problem of vitamin A deficiency. vitamin A deficiency. Now, to overcome this problem of vitamin A deficiency, the science has gone in such a way that they wanted to improve the overcome the vitamin A deficiency by incorporating naturally this vitamin A levels in the rice grain, because this is most commonly consumed food. So instead of taking some what supplements, let them eat the regular food substance which contains higher amount of beta carotene. Now, can you anybody tell me, is it really existing in the current world? Or anybody eating this golden rice? I
No,
think no,
ma'am.
Roshan should answer this. Golden rice. Why I'm stressing for Roshan right now? Because in Bangladesh is a country in the 2019. Very recently, this country they have decided that we will go ahead with the cultivation of this golden rice. But technically and ethically, there are so many problems are there, so that we are not much concerned over here. Our intention is that it has to be beneficial to the people in such a way that vitamin A deficiency can be controlled, and the people can have a better life instead of having the vitamin A deficiency. So the country which is now like planning to go ahead with the cultivation of golden rice is Bangladesh,
But
and the proposal was taken up in the year 2019. Yes.
okay, ma'am.
Okay, then look at this picture also, because some picture image based question they may put this rice and they may ask you also. Then last time also I discussed that whether rice contains a lot of protein or milk contains protein. So your option should be always milk contains less protein as compared to that of the rice. And remember that the proteins, quality of protein is good in rice as compared to the quality of protein that is present in the wheat. Remember, students, rice, even though it may contain less quantity of protein, wheat may contain more of protein. But if you see the quality wise, the rice quality protein is much better or superior as compared to that of the protein present in the wheat.
Wait.
So these points you have to remember. Next, uh, limiting amino acid. So what do you mean by limiting amino acid, student? So how do you
Ma'am.
calculate this limiting amino acid? So I'll tell you this one. So what you do now, you take some food particle, maybe 1 gram you take. So in that 1 gram of the food particle, so you want to see which amino acid is present in what quantity. And then you have to compare that amino acid with the reference protein. So what is the reference protein for us here?
Egg.
Egg. So, because why egg is taken as a reference protein? Because it contains all the essential amino acids. So that is why egg is taken as a reference reference protein. So whatever the protein we want to, our amino acid individually we want to check it. So that level we will compare it with the egg. So for example, in the wheat, if it contains 5 grams of the some 5 grams of lysine, then the reference protein egg, if it contains 10 grams of the lysine, so that means what can we say, that wheat is deficient in this lysine? Yes. So the limiting amino acids are calculated based on comparison with the reference protein. So when this comparison was done, so it was observed that the wheat is deficient in lysine and threonine. So the questions has been already asked, remember this. These are again factual questions. Wheat is deficient in lysine and threonine. Remember this. Then again
Yes, ma'am.
maize. So maize is again what? It is deficient in lysine and tryptophan, but it is very much rich in which one, student?
Leucine, ma'am.
Leucine. Now this maize eaters, the corn or butta, whatever it is there, the local names. So what is the problem with this is like whoever consumes this, especially in the Andhra Pradesh or Telangana region, people has the habit of consuming this maize a lot as a part of staple food. Now they are more prone for which the deficiency, students? Vitamin B3, that is
Pellegrino.
niacin deficiency. Just a second. So now because of this, what happened? They will develop what? Pellagra. So definitely, what can we say that maize is what pellagrogenic food? Yes, it is a
Yes, ma'am.
pellagrogenic food, because if whoever consumes maize over a long period of time, they are highly prone to develop what? Pellagra. So the problem is not that it is deficient with tryptophan. The problem is that it has got
It's
very high amount of leucine in it, because it has got some amount of tryptophan, and if it is metabolized, it can get converted to what? it can get converted to vitamin B3, that is niacin.
Yes.
But what is happening, this fellow leucine is there, no? This leucine, he will go and he will inhibit the conversion of this tryptophan to vitamin B3, that is niacin. So the problem is not exactly like total complete deficiency of tryptophan. The problem is this maize is very much rich in leucine, and this leucine has got a inhibitory action on the tryptophan conversion to what? Niacin. So
Yes,
because
sir.
of that, the problem is occurring. This point you have to remember it. Just a second. Some students are joining. Okay. Next, we will see Bajra. It is also called as millet. Now, what are these millets, students? What is the difference between the pulses and the millets? Students, because again
Mm.
picture based questions they can ask you. So the first picture whatever is there, it is showing the grain or the millet. So millets are very small sized, and very important is that if you see the rice or wheat, what they will do, they will remove the outer covering or the outer layer, that is dehusking will be done. Whereas in this millets and all, the outer covering we don't remove it, we will just keep it as usual. So example for millet is what, students? Our jawar, bajra,
Bajra.
and huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Ragi. So these are all the examples of what? Millets. Now the problem with the millet is this fellow bajra is there, no? The pearl millet. It is very small and it looks like a pearl. That's why it is called as a pearl millet. Very, very, very important that usually this particular pearl millet, it is what infected with the fungus. The name of that fungus is Claviceps fusiformis. Have you heard about this particular fungus? It is also called as ergot. It is also called as ergot. Remember this. And what is the amino acid that is deficient or which is present in a very limited amount in this bajra? It is
Threonine
threonine
and lysine.
and lysine, LT. So this bajra BLT. Just remember this. This fellow is what? He is not completely deficient. Remember, the word is limiting amino acid. It is present, but it is present in a very limited quantity. Remember this. So, limiting amino acid doesn't mean that they are completely absent. They are present, but their amount is very much limited. And this point, whatever I have mentioned, no, it is rich in calcium. If at all the question is asked, which one of the following millet is rich in calcium? Just look for bajra. So this bajra is rich in calcium. Now let us look at this ergotism. So what is this ergotism, students?
Mm.
Have you
It's
can you
to
just observe
biceps.
this picture here? Jayashree, Vishal, and others also. Smriti, Akarsh, students, just observe this particular thing. Have you observed this? What is this black color thing which has come out of this particular rye? Have you all
Flowering
observed
plant.
this? Look at this black thing.
Flowering plant.
Yeah, it is an ergot. It is a fungus actually. So this fungus, it will be such a dangerous fungus that it will grow to such a big size that, like it looks very horrible to look at. It is like some blackish color mass that is coming out of this, already like a fruit laden crop of this bajra. Now, what happens when this fungus is mixed, and when it is like nicely like mixed, and people start consuming this fungal infected bajra, then what happens? The person will be affected with the condition called as ergotism. Now, what is the problem is happening is that this fungus, it contains an alkaloid called as ergotamine or and ergocristine. These are the names of the two alkaloids that are present in this particular fungal infected bajra. Now, what it will do? It has got two types of effects on the individual. So, one effect is that it will initially affect the nervous system. It will affect the nervous system, and it causes what? Contraction, involuntary contractions of the muscles, causing convulsive problems. So initially the person will be complaining of the lethargy, weakness. So these are all the initial complaints of the patients. Later the patient will enter into the neural complaints of convulsive problems, and if it is further continued like that, the extremities or the peripheries of the body will be affected, so where it will cause the vasoconstriction. So this particular alkaloid, whatever is there, it will cause what? The constriction of the the end or the terminal vessels, and due to which there will be what happens, there will be reduced vascular supply to these end organs, and it will lead to the final result will be the gangrene of the these extreme parts of the body, like hands or the fingers or the foot extremes. So there will be convulsive and gangrenous complaints will be there, which will be seen in the terminal stages. Got the point, students? So a question can be asked like bajra. It is commonly infected with which fungus? It is which one, students? Which what is the name of the fungus? Remember this.
Clavicle fusiformis.
Claviceps fusiformis. That is very important. And this fungus contain an alkaloid. The name of that alkaloid is what? Ergotamine. And what are the clinical features of this? Convulsive and gangrenous. These are the two important classical clinical features of this ergotism. So what can be
Okay.
done to prevent this ergotism? So best thing is that you see that the crop is not infected. If the crop is infected, use the proper pesticides. And if at all some contamination has happened, you do parboiling. That means what? You heat whatever the bajra millets you have collected. No, once a grain is collected, and if you come to know it is infected, you just properly boil it up to 60 to 70 degrees so that all these alkaloids will be killed up or they become denaturated. So even if somebody consumes also, it won't cause any uh, deleterious effects to the people who has consumed it. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is ragi. So just observe this. So this ragi, these are it is also a category of what? Millets. When we see the nutritive value, so what is the important thing is that it contains highest amount of calcium. That is the question has been asked on this. Roshan, can you tell me what is the amount of calcium present in ragi? Jayashree and others. It is 344 milligram per 100 gram. So 100 grams of ragi if you take, in that nearly 344 milligram. This number is very important. Wherever I'm stressing, no, remember students, it is very, very important. All these questions has been asked, and you may also get your turn to attempt these questions. So ragi contains how much, students? Calcium 344
344.
milligrams. And ragi is considered to be one of the best weaning food. What is weaning food, students? What is the meaning of weaning food? So newborn baby is there. So baby is born today, and this baby
After
will be fed with mother's milk till 6 months. Then after
ma'am.
that, what will happen? You need to give what? This supplementary food. So nowadays this word weaning is no more used. It is like a wrong word to be used. So like weaning means what? Totally removing the one thing and giving the another thing. So replacement is called as weaning. But weaning is not the right word. Now we use the word, what is the thing? Supplementary food. So mother will
Supplementary.
feed the baby with her own breast milk. Along with that, the baby also will be given some supplementary source of food so that it will have the proper growth and development. So in that, ragi is considered to be one of the best supplementary food for the babies. Then look at this particular thing, students. Look at this second picture. It is a picture of what, students? Jawar.
Jawar.
Jawar. Now this jawar is also a category of the millet, and the problem is that this jawar is also limited with which one, students? Lysine. It
Lysine
is
and
also
threonine.
limited with which one? Lysine. Now there is one peculiarity with this jawar, students. What peculiarity? Wherever this crop grows, no, wherever this crop grows, this crop has got highest affinity to absorb which one, Smriti? Fluorine.
Fluorine.
You all agree with this? Fluorine is what, students? It is an
Yes, student.
halogen. Halogen, what is the meaning of halogens? They are highly electronegative substances. Chemically, they are highly electronegative. They will never exist in the free form. Always they tend to combine, and they always occur in a combined form. So this particular crop, no, it always will be searching for what? Fluorine, fluorine, fluorine. Now this crop, whoever consumes the food like this jawar crop, remember that it contains lot and lot of fluoride. Now whoever is coming from Rajasthan, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, or certain parts of Karnataka where the soil naturally contains fluoride, so what happens, this soil is also grown in that area, so there will be double what consumption of the fluoride, and the person will land up in what, the condition called as fluorosis. And this fluorosis, it can be of two types: dental fluorosis and skeletal fluorosis. Yes, students,
Yes, ma'am.
do you all agree with this? So,
Yes,
whoever
ma'am.
consumes this fluoride, no, be careful. Then, one more thing I want to tell you, one more factual point. Like here only, I want to tell you this. Well water is there. For example, well water is a deep well and shallow well is there. So now, deep well. So this is a well. One is very deep well, another is shallow well. So this is a shallow well and deep well. A question can be given to you. So in which of this well water fluoride content will be more? Can anybody answer this?
Ma'am,
Student,
shallow well, ma'am.
shallow well fluoride content will be more.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Jayashree, Vikas, Akarsh. Yeah. So you people are absolutely wrong in this. So remember that one of the very important feature of fluoride, no, as we go deep into the earth crust, Roshan, as we go deep into the earth crust, go deep into the ground, so more the fluoride content will be there. So shallow well it contains less of fluorides, and deep well contains more of fluorides. So wherever the skeletal fluorosis occurs, and if their source of drinking water is what deep well, then chances are that that well contains higher amount of the fluorides. This point you have to remember. Then another thing, rocks, igneous rocks are there. Yes, we have got what type of rocks, students? Sedimentary rocks, igneous rocks, and metamorphic rocks, right? So these are the three types of the rocks which occur in the nature. So sedimentary rocks are what? They are the biological, they are deposited in the layer, and here they contain what? Petrol, coal, and all they are seen in sedimentary rocks. Igneous rocks, what is the thing? No, in this igneous rocks, lot of fluorides will be present. Lot of fluorides will be present. So geographically, any area which contains lot of igneous mountains or rocks, no, then it is understood that that area, that soil has got lot of fluoride over there. And if at all in that area this jawar is grown, then what is the thing, students? The problem of fluorosis will be there. And another thing is that it not only causes dental fluorosis, skeletal fluorosis, and it has also got impact on the renal system. Whose kidney is already problematic kidney, and if that fellow consumes lot of jawar, and don't worry, this kidney will fail very soon. So the thing is that jawar is not a kidney friendly. So whoever is having a kidney problem, no, so there what happens, the thing is that nutritionally we should advise them not to consume jawar. Yes. And this jawar is also very much rich in which one, students? Leucine. So remember, leucine, any crop that is rich in leucine, any crop that is rich in leucine. So what is the problem over here? This fellow leucine is there, no, he doesn't lead to the formation of niacin. That is, always leucine rich food, they tend to create what? Pellagra for the individual. Whoever consumes this jowar, maize, no, so which are rich in leucine, so these people will be deficient in what? Vitamin B3, that is niacin. So niacin deficient individuals will show the clinical manifestations of what? Pellagra. So these are the certain points you have to remember. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now look at this table. So this table totally talks about the millets. Now let's see some of the nutritional facts about the millets. So what I want you to observe here is calcium. Look at the calcium. Very important MCQ question. Which of the following millets are rich with calcium? It is which one, students?
344.
So ragi contains how much? 344 milligrams, that is milligrams of calcium per 100 gram. So remember this. Then followed by which one, students? Bajra. Yes. Then again, the question may be asked, which of the following millets contain high amount of protein? So proteins are highest in which one, students? Bajra.
Bajra.
Again, Bajra is very much rich in proteins. So these facts you have to remember. So just remember about calcium and protein. Next, coming to the egg. Now look at this egg. This is a hen egg, and it is also called as a reference because the proteins that is present in the egg, they are like it contains all the essential amino acids. That is the reason we call this egg as a reference protein. So if you want to compare any food item protein, we compare it with that of the egg protein. So based on that we can tell. And the like what is this NPU? Net protein
Next
utilization.
protein utilization.
So what do you mean by this net protein utilization? That is, whoever consumes the protein, if this fellow takes the egg, means what happens, it will get into the digestive tract, and from the digestive tract it will get digested, and then it gets absorbed, and then again it will be retained in the body, and then it will be utilized for growth and development of the various systems of the body. Now with the egg, if you see, all of its proteins, whatever the amino acids are there, they are properly utilized for the growth and development of the human body. So that means what, it's a very very good protein, right? So it is called as a complete protein. The proteins present in the egg, they are called as what? Complete proteins. Incomplete proteins means what? The food item, it contains proteins, but the problem is that they may not be digested, or even though they are digested, what happens? They are not absorbed, or even though they are absorbed, they are not utilized for the what body growth and development purpose. So some problem is there. So such type of proteins we are called as what? Incomplete proteins. So egg is called as what? Complete protein. And should we consume the raw egg or should we consume the boiled egg? Students,
Boiled egg.
we need to consume the boiled egg, because what happens, the raw egg, it contains a protein called as avidin. So this avidin, what happens, it prevents the absorption of what? Biotin. What is biotin?
B7.
B7. It is a B7, one of the B complex, this B complex group of vitamin. So therefore, we should not consume the egg in its raw form, because it contains a avidin, which is an inhibitory factor for B7 absorption. Now look at this nutritive value of the egg. Now why did I put this slide is because already question has been asked related to this. One egg, it usually measures how much? It weighs about 60
60
grams.
gram.
One egg, what is the weight of one egg? 60 grams. So what is the nutritive value of this 60 grams egg? So it contains 6 grams of protein. It's very easy to remember. 60 gram egg means 6 gram protein, 6 gram fat, and no carbohydrate. Remember this. Egg never contains carbohydrate, no vitamin C. It has to be imprinted in your mind. In egg, remember. So just E is no just a mnemonic. Just come make it into C. Remove this middle one. So egg contains no carbohydrate, no vitamin C. So egg is totally deficient in which one, students?
Carbohydrate and vitamins.
Carbohydrate and vitamin C. So this point you have to remember. Okay. Any doubts with the egg? Now, why did I put this two glasses over here? Jayashree and others, Smriti, Akarsh,
Ma'am,
student,
one is raw egg and one is boiled egg.
boiled egg and raw egg. Okay, anybody else?
Freshen.
Huh? Yes, yes.
Old and freshen.
Yeah, very good. Who answered this one?
I'm Sirisha, ma'am.
Very good, Sirisha. Excellent answer. So,
Thank you, ma'am.
students, why did I put this picture? Because sometimes in image-based question, how do you assess the quality of a egg? So this question, no, it tells about the quality of the egg. So now two glasses are there. The egg, if it is of a good quality, what will happen? It will have a high molecular weight, and it will just drown and it will settle at the bottom. If it is a
Mm.
very old egg, then what will happen? So it will
Lord.
float in the water. So it is a old egg and it is a new egg, fresh egg. Remember this. And another thing is that if this is a egg and if its shell is cracked, if the shell of the egg is cracked, will we consume? If the egg is there, its shell is cracked. So is it advisable to consume this egg?
No, ma'am.
Consume, students? No. Why? Because it will be most commonly infected with the salmonella. It will be most commonly infected with which one, students? Salmonella.
Salmonella.
Remember this point. So these two glasses indicate what? Egg quality test, and a cracked egg is most commonly contaminated with the salmonella. So better discard that cracked egg or the old egg. Okay. Next. Now let us now coming to the milk. So we generally we humans we consume buffalo milk, cow milk, goat milk, and human milk. Now let us see some of the nutritive value of this milk. So very important is that the fat content. Already question has been asked on this. Which of the following milk contains highest amount of the fat? Students, which milk contains highest amount of fat?
Buffalo.
Buffalo milk. So buffalo milk, the person will become very plumpy because lot of fat will be there. And less amount of fat is present in which one, students? Human milk.
Human.
Then protein wise, again this is also very very important. Proteins are present in highest quantity in which type milk? It is present in greater amount in buffalo milk.
Buffalo.
Human milk, it contains less protein. Now you tell me, but for the new babies, then why we advise to give the mother milk? It is a human milk. Why to give the breast milk, even though it contains less protein?
No, no,
Yeah, tell me. Anyway,
and
buffalo milk contains lot of proteins, no? So we can give buffalo milk. So still, why do we like prefer for the mother's milk?
ma'am, it contains
Antibody.
Yeah, tell.
immune factor.
Because of
Huh?
cholesterol,
Yes,
presence of
student.
cholesterol,
I'm not able to hear you properly actually.
antibody
Yeah,
Ma'am,
antibody is there.
means
Uh,
maternal antibody,
yeah,
cholesterol.
colostrum, that is all fine, very good. Apart from that, no, the protein point when we look into, so the whey proteins. So what is the thing, no? The mother's milk or the breast milk, it contains the quality of proteins is such a way that it is nicely digested. It is easily digested. So the digestibility fraction of this mother's milk or the breast milk is very good as compared to buffalo cow or goat milk. So the baby, if it is fed with any of this milk, no, their proteins is not digested properly in our baby's intestine. So the baby will have difficulty in digesting the protein, right?
yes, ma'am.
Next, lactose. Already MCQ has been asked, so focus on this particular thing. Lactose is present in highest amount in breast milk or the human milk as compared to the other thing. So just remember this. Now, whatever I'm telling you, know, after this, go through your MCQs related to this topic, then you can answer everything over there. Then calcium. So calcium is present in highest quantity in which one, students? Buffalo milk. So
Yes, ma'am.
buffalo milk contains lot of calcium as compared to that of the human milk. So that's why what we do, the lactating mother, she will be given what? Calcium supplements. Then coming to the iron, so iron is present at in a greater proportion in which one, students? Goat milk.
Yes,
Then vitamin C, very very important. Human milk or the mother's milk or the breast milk is very rich source of vitamin C as compared to other milk sources. As compared to other milk sources. Then water. So in which one water is present, this is very very important, students. So that's why for the first 6 months, from the time of birth till 6 months, baby is not advised to be given external source of water because mother's breast milk is the best source of water because it contains nearly 88 grams of water. Yes, so that's why there is no need to give any additional water just a s- for the baby. Okay. Now let us see what is the method of what mm, uh, taking care of the milk. So let it may be cow milk or buffalo milk or goat milk, whatever is there. So we get into the process to make it sterile and say free from all the contaminants. So especially the microorganisms. So for that, the technique employed at the large scale, that is pasteurization. So the question has been asked on this pasteurization. What can be done on this pasteurization? So what can be done in this pasteurization? So
ma'am.
pasteurization, look at the picture here, heating and cooling. So we
Yes,
heat
ma'am.
it at very high temperature, then again we cool it also so to such a low temperature. So due to this mechanism or the process, what happens? Most of the what toxic substances and the toxic organisms they will be killed, and the milk whatever is obtained after this pasteurization, it will be safe for human consumption. So pasteurization is rapid heating and cooling of the milk. So in this again different techniques of pasteurization are there. Three techniques are there. So one is Holder or the Watt method. So questions are asked on this. Here what we do, we heat the milk at 3 to 66 degrees for 30 minutes. Then quickly we need to cool it. So heating and cooling. Once you heat, then you cool it. So that is what is the technique of pasteurization. Here in the holder technique, temperature used is 63 degrees, and later it is cooled for 30 minutes. Whereas in high temperature, short time method, that is HTST method, the milk is heated up to 72 degrees for 15 seconds, only for 15 seconds. Whereas in the previous, it is heated for 30 minutes. Then after that, it is rapidly cooled for at 4 degrees centigrades. So heating only for 15 seconds, it is seconds. Then again it is rapidly cooled at 4 degrees centigrades. Then ultra high temperature method, here it is the milk is heated at further high temperature, that is 125 degrees. Then later what is happening, we are cooling it at a very rapidly, we are cooling it for further few seconds. So by doing this, what will happen, the milk will be totally sterile. Yes, are you all clear with this
Yes,
technique
ma'am.
of pasteurization? Now, after this pasteurization, you need to check whether pasteurization is effective or not. Because there are three tests are there. One is phosphatase test, another is a standard plate count test, another is coliform test. Already MCQs has been asked on this. So, what is phosphatase test? Just I will show you here. I think in your community medicine practicals, have you seen this phosphatase test? Akarsh, Jayashree, and others. Roshan.
Mm, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think what actually will be done, no? So before doing pasteurization, you take the milk, and then what you do, you to the 1 ml of the milk, what you do, you add 5 ml of the nitrate phosphate, a chemical that is a buffering agent you add. Then after that, you let it be there for 15 minutes. Then after 15 minutes, what happens? You look for the change in color. If there is a change in color, it indicates what? There is a presence of phosphatase enzyme, presence of phosphatase enzyme. Now what you do, you take this milk and you put it for pasteurization. Then after pasteurization, you take the same sample of milk. Then what you do, you again add this nitrate phosphate buffer, and then you wait for 15 minutes and look for the change in color. If there is no change in color, it indicates that this particular enzyme has been totally destroyed. That means what? Pasteurization technique is 100% effective. Yes, so this is called as the technique of pasteurization. For technique of to check for the efficacy of pasteurization, phosphatase testing will be done. Yes, clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So which one of the following is a method to check for the pasteurization method? So question can be given: phosphatase test, plate count, or coliform. These are all we need to culture. The other two are like we are checking for the microbial colonies. So which is not much recommended on the immediate technique. So immediately what we can use is phosphatase test. Next, what is toned milk? Because again, MCQ has been asked in this. So, what is toned milk, students? It is a made up milk. Then it contains a skimmed milk. So, made up milk means what? We are only preparing that milk. How to prepare this milk? So, take one part of water. So, take water, and to this water, you add the natural milk. Natural milk means what? It is a cow milk or whatever it is. So, for example, if you have taken 1 liter of water, add 1 liter of what? Cow milk or buffalo milk. Then to this, what you add 1/8 of the skimmed milk powder. So, milk powder, skimmed milk powder. What is skimmed milk, students? It is a milk which doesn't contain fat. It is a fatless milk. It is a fatless milk. So in that fatless milk, the powdered form, you take it, then you mix all this, then the milk whatever you get, it is called as what, students?
Toned
Toned.
milk.
It is called as toned milk. So you add water, you add the already milk which you have collected from the cow or buffalo, whatever is there. So you add buffalo or cow milk. Okay, then to this you add the powdered milk, especially which one? Fat free, that is skimmed milk. So mix all this, then ultimately the milk whatever you get, no, that milk is called as the toned milk. I think you must have seen in the supermarket and all toned milk and all.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the way how the toned milk is prepared. So an MCQ can be asked for this. It is a natural milk and made up milk combination. This word is very, very important. Then skimmed milk. It is a fat removed milk. So just remember this point. So whatever the milk is, the buffalo milk, it contains lot of fat, right? So you remove the fat, then whatever the milk that is obtained, that is called as skimmed milk. It is a fatless milk or fat-free milk. Now let us see some points about the breast milk. Very, very important. Many MCQs are asked on this. Now the things is that breast milk. Students, are you all able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Breast milk. So when we should, what is the ideal time to feed a newborn baby with the breast milk? Immediately after birth, or 1 hour after birth, or 4 hours after birth, or after 1 day? Students, Sirisha and others, because after
Within 1 hour.
Within 1 hour.
within 1 hour. But what ideally I'll tell you, as soon as possible. Agar baby is born, no, just feed it with the which one? Baby is born, what you had to do? You just put it after the delivery, after vitamin K injection and all, you just keep the baby next to the mother, let it have the mother's milk. So as soon as possible, as soon as possible is the right answer, right? If that is not given, then within 1 hour of the childbirth. So this is what the answer you have to look for. So breastfeeding should be done as soon as possible, otherwise within 1 hour. Then what is exclusive breastfeeding?
Not
Student,
a drop of water.
exclusive
Medicine.
breastfeeding means only mother's milk, nothing else. Only mother's milk. No water, no supplementary food. Only mother's milk is called as what? Exclusive breastfeeding. Now, what is the thing over here? This has to be given at least for 0 to
6
6 months. From birth till at least 6 months, exclusive breastfeeding is recommended. Remember this. Then, what is complementary feeding, students?
along with breastfeeding after 6 months,
Complementary
ma'am.
feeding.
Some
Huh?
along with breastfeeding, some complementary food is given after 6 months, ma'am, up to
Very good,
2 years.
excellent. So, along with mother's milk or breast milk, you have to use such as additional food. So, that additional food, how it should be usually semi-solid or it may be liquid also, and it should be energy dense. This point is very important, and it should be given after 6 months. It is also previously this particular way method used to be called as weaning. Now we don't use this particular term. So, this is called as complementary feeding, and it should be started after 6 months. And which is food that can be given over here? Banana or ragi. So these are all like the best source of complementary feeding. You can also give Cerelac, Farex, already synthetically prepared food. Then another question: breast milk output. An MCQ can be asked on this. So maximum breast milk, like how much it is there? So from the baby is born, after immediately after the delivery till 6 months, the quantity of the breast milk will be adequate. That is 730 ml per day. Are you all clear, students? These points you have to remember.
Yes,
Students,
ma'am.
Okay.
so it is
Yes,
730
ma'am.
ml per day. After 6 months, what happens? The quantity will reduce. Then another point is expressed milk. What is expressed milk? So what is expressed milk? If the baby is not directly able to get the mother's milk directly from the mother, then the milk can be expressed and it can be put in the container, and
Yes, ma'am.
that milk can be fed to the baby. Yes?
Manual. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, tell me. Yeah. Now, what is the how long this expressed milk can be stored? Some question can be asked. So the expressed milk is kept at a room temperature, that is somewhere around 37 degrees centigrades. Then this milk can be preserved for 8 to 10 hours. So at a room temperature, if the milk is expressed, so within 8 to 10 hours, this milk has to be given to the baby. Or if it is kept in the refrigerator, then this expressed milk has to be given to the baby within 24 hours. Or if you have stored this expressed milk at a deep freezer where the temperature is minus 20 degrees, then this expressed milk can be stored up to 3 months. It can be stored up to 3 months. Right? Do you all agree, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let us see what are the contraindications for breast milk. Contraindications, very important. So, the very important is if the baby itself by nature or genetically itself if it has got galactosemia or lactose intolerance. Galactosemia means what? It can be of different types are there. So it is an a biochemical disorder is there where there is a deficiency of galactose 1 phosphate uridyl transferase, that is GALT. If this particular enzyme is deficient, then the baby will not be able to what convert this simple carbohydrate, that is galactose. So the metabolism is not possible. Then this galactose will be what? It will be accumulated in the various parts of the body, and it can even lead to the what a congenital cataract, and it can affect, like accumulate in the liver also. So these are the different clinical manifestations of galactosemia. So if the baby is born with galactosemia, that is where there is a deficiency of the galt. So then don't give any breast milk to the baby. So then alternate supplements has to be given. Or baby is born with lactose or having lactose intolerance, where there is a deficiency of lactase enzyme, then again don't give the breast milk. Yes, the second contraindication for breast milk. Students, are you all there?
Yes, ma'am.
Another contraindication, if the mother is on chemotherapy or radiotherapy for cancer or any other pathological state, then don't give the breast milk. Or if the mother is infected with HIV, then again here I want to tell you is that in developed countries and developing countries, these two things you have to remember. If the question is asked in a developing country like India, if the mother is affected with HIV, can she give the breast milk? Then you can say that yes, because it is very difficult to afford for a very expensive outside milk, whereas in developing country or developed countries where the family can afford for all this external synthetically prepared milk, fine. Otherwise, better thing is that where economic condition is poor, then it is advisable to go ahead with the maternal milk or the mother's milk. Or if the mother is having tuberculosis which is active and untreated, then don't give the breast milk. Then, if the mother is having varicella lesions or the herpes zoster lesions, especially on the breast area, then no need to give the breast milk because the baby will get affected with that. Or if at all there is active lesions of the herpes or breast abscess, so these are all the various contraindications for what students breast milk. Now let us see the advantages of the breast milk. Whatever I'm telling you right now, no, they are all very important MCQ questions for you. Jayashree and others, students.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are the advantages of breast milk? Very important advantage is that it contains very good amount of what? Lactose, that is carbohydrate. So lactose is rich in breast milk as compared to that of the other cow milk or buffalo milk. Another important is that breast milk contains proteins, even though its quantity is very less, but it is easily digestible. I told you, buffalo, cow milk, goat milk, and all they contain good amount of protein as compared to that of the human milk. But our milk, especially, it contains lactalbumin, and even though its quantity is less, 1 gram per deciliter, but it is very easily digestible to the baby. So baby will be like very much comfortable having this breast milk proteins. Next, our breast milk also contains adequate amount of the other amino acids like cysteine, taurine, and methionine, which is essential for the CNS development. And another point is breast milk is rich in which one, students? Polyunsaturated fatty acids, and it is also rich in docosahexaenic hexaenic acid. Very, very important, DHA. Like MCQ question has been asked many times related to this breast milk. Human breast milk is rich in DHA, that is docosahexaenic acid, which is very much important for the myelination, that is central nervous system development. This is very much essential. So that is the reason why they say that babies who are breastfed, babies who are breastfed, so their IQ level is high. IQ level, that is intelligent quotient, is very high. So the reason is that breast milk contains very good amount of this particular DHA. Then breast milk also contains calcium and phosphate in a very good ratio, so that calcium absorption will be very high in the babies who are having the breast milk. Then iron. breast milk, whatever the iron is present in the breast milk, it is easily absorbable as compared to that of the iron that is present in the cow and other animal source milk. But very important, you have to remember, students, the human breast milk or the mother's milk is deficient in vitamin D, K, and B12. Yes, one more thing I want to just cross verify with you. Egg is deficient in which one, students?
Vitamin C and
Vitamin
carbohydrate.
Vitamin
carbohydrate.
C and carbohydrate. Whereas our breast milk is deficient in which one, students? Question can be asked on this. Breast milk is
Vitamin
deficient in
K
D.
and
D,
K. That is vitamin. That is the reason why the baby immediately it is born. No, it is given an injection of vitamin K. So then after that, B12 is also deficient. Next, another advantage of the breast milk is that breast milk contains PABA, that is para amino benzoic acid. Now, what is the importance is that this particular PABA it protects the baby from malaria. That's why we never see malaria in a newborn. So the question can be asked, why there is no malaria in the newborn? The option you have, the answer is because of the presence of PABA in the breast milk, that is para amino benzoic acid. Then breast milk also contains phagocytic macrophages. Apart from that, breast milk also contains which one, students? Lactoferrin. What is the role of this lactoferrin? It inhibits the growth of Escherichia coli, that is E. coli. Remember this. Roshan and others,
yes, ma'am.
students.
Okay.
So
Yes, ma'am.
what is the like significance of lactoferrin in the breast milk? It inhibits the growth of E. coli because the questions can be asked related to this. Then antibodies. Somebody has told in the beginning, no. So breast milk is rich in which antibody? IgA. This is what secretory antibody. It contains all the types of antibodies, but more amount of IgA followed by IgM antibody. Then it also contains anti-staphylococcal factor. Then breast milk also contains what, students? Bifidus factors. What is this bifidus factor? It is a polysaccharide
Maybe.
which encourages the growth of what? Lactobacillus. So whatever the intestine is there, so what happens? The breast milk whoever baby consumes, whatever it consumes, no. So it helps in the growth of what? Intestinal flora, because the growth and development of this intestinal flora is very essential. So the baby whoever consumes this breast milk, it contains bifidus factor and it encourages the growth of what? Lactobacillus. So the gut flora will be properly developed now. So baby born, gut is sterile, and as it consumes breast milk, it will now slowly start encouraging the development of lactobacillus. Now this lactobacillus is there means what? The vitamin K production and other beneficial things will happen in the body. Another advantage of breast milk is that it is rich in bile stimulated lipids because this particular enzyme lipase BSL, bile stimulated lipase, it kills entamoeba histolytica and Giardia lamblia. Then I told you already, since it is rich in DHA, so then what happens? The intelligent quotient or the intelligence of the baby also will be more, and there will be emotional bonding. Now, what are the points I told about breast milk? Every point can be an MCQ for you. Yes, students, here with this.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Now the breast milk, what the milk, egg, all these things are over. Now let us see some of the like nutritive value of the fruits. Now coming to the fruits. Now this point, this table is very important. I hope if you have gone through your previous MCQs, the fruit which I want to focus here is Sitapal. Which is a season for Sitapal, students? Custard apple.
Winter
Sitapal.
season.
Not winter season, it is rainy season. In the month of August, no, this particular fruit will be in the market. So now this Sitapal, what happens? It is very, very rich source of vitamin C. Vitamin C, this point you have to remember. And another thing is that the calories that is obtained from banana and Sitapal both are same. The amount of energy that is obtained from banana and sitapal is same. Why I am focusing on sitapal? Because already question has been asked. Roshan, have you seen this question? related to
Yes, ma'am.
sitapal? Which of the
Yes, ma'am.
following contains a lot of vitamin C or more of vitamin C? It is sitapal. Remember
Yes, ma'am.
this. Then apart from that, guava, that is jampandu in Telugu, we call it perlehanu in Kannada. So it is like the guava, it contains nearly 212 milligrams of vitamin C. It is a non-citrus fruit. It is a non-citrus fruit. Yes. Then after this, what is there? Which is a rich source of vitamin C means overall it
Amla.
is amla. It is also called as Indian
Indian gooseberry.
Indian gooseberry. Very good. So Indian gooseberry. So it contains nearly 600 milligrams of vitamin C. So now the thing is that if the question is asked, which of the following is a rich source of vitamin C? Students, which one you have to opt? Rich source of vitamin C?
Amla.
First,
Yeah, it is amla. Very good. It is amla. Here he didn't mention which of the following is a what non-citrus fruit, nothing. Must be asked
Guava.
which source. If at all, if the question is asked non-citrus, in that the rich
guava.
source of vitamin is which one, students?
Guava.
Goa.
Guava.
If this Goa is not there, if the option is given Sitapal, then please mark that it is Sitapal. Yes, do you all
Yes,
agree
ma'am.
with this? Fine.
No.
Now let us see one more thing. Among the fruit only, let us come to this carotene. This carotene is what our vitamin A related, right? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Now among the given fruits here, look at this. Which of the following fruits contains highest amount of the vitamin A?
The
Now
right
in the
Papaya.
mango.
option papaya. Yes, the ripe papaya, it contains nearly 2740 micrograms. Here it is micrograms of vitamin A. If the option doesn't contain papaya, if this thing is not there, then look at for orange or mango. If the orange is also not there, then students opt for ripe mango, not unripe mango. It is ripe
Right.
mango. It contains lot of what? Vitamin A. If it is unripe mango, it contains lot of vitamin C, ascorbic acid. Remember this. Now let us see some part over here related to the dry fruits. Look at here. So among the dry fruits, the dry fruit which is rich in iron, coming to the iron. So dry fruit which is rich in iron, then again it is dates.
Dates.
If dates is not given, the richest is which one, students? Raisin. What is this raisin? It is nothing but dry grapes. The grapes, whatever is there, we dry it. Then when we dry it, its iron content will be very high, which is 7.7 milligrams. Yes, do you all agree with this?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Okay. Then calcium. If you see the calcium, it is very much high in which one? Almonds. Almonds means what, students? It is the badam. Badam. And remember this, this badam, no, it can be given as a supplementary food for the babies because it contains very good amount of the calcium. Now all these tables are given in the park textbook, and each table has it got its own significance, and each table, no, the MCQ has been picked up and questions has been asked. So don't neglect all these tables. So I want you to focus on Sitapal, Amla, which is rich source of vitamin C. Now, coming to the next concept here, reference Indian reference man and woman. Students, now let
Yes,
us see. Now, if the nutritive value has to be calculated, now for example, if this fellow is there, how much, what is in daily energy calories is required. So that we call it as what? Reference man. So, and reference woman. As compared to this reference man and woman, how the nutrition values has to be calculated. This is very important and lot of questions has been asked related to this. Now, reference man. According to this concept of reference man in India, like we calculate the nutritional value for the man who is between 18 to 29 years, and the weight should be 60 kgs, and his height should be 173 meters or 173 centimeters, and BMI should be 20.3. And if it is a reference woman, then the age between 18 to 29 years, same here, and she should be non-pregnant, non-lactating, and her weight should be 55 kgs, height should be 1.61 meters, and BMI should be 21.2. So this is the ideal reference man and Indian reference woman. Now, based on these two reference things, no, we calculate the nutritional requirements for the individual. Now, why did I focus on this particular thing is that lot of MCQs are asked on this particular aspect itself. Just a second. Now look at this question here. Weight of an Indian reference woman. Students, can you tell me this? Weight of
55.
an Indian
55.
55. Do you all agree with this? Let us just go back to the table again here. So Indian reference, Indian man and woman. So woman means what should be her weight? Woman weight is usually lesser than the men weight. So for 55 kgs woman, the nutritive value we calculate. So it is 55 kgs. So the Indian woman reference weight is how much? 55 kgs. If it is man, it is 60 kgs. Next question related to this reference man and woman. True about reference Indian male except is the question asked over here. Now again let us go back to the table. The man age should be how much? 18 to 29 years, 60 kgs. His weight should be 1.73 meters and his BMI that BMI should be 20.3. Now let us see. BMI 20.3 is correct. His weight is 60 kgs is also correct. Height is 1.73 meters is also correct. Then what about the age? Age should be between 18 to
29.
29 years. Now the accept means what? This is the answer over here. Are you all clear here?
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Now let us see one more MCQ question. In the last class I have discussed conditionally essential amino acids. Conditionally essential amino acids. So conditionally essential amino acids, the clue I want to give you here is C. C stands for CT. Just remember that CT scan, something like that. So
Yes,
conditionally essential amino acids are cysteine and
yes,
which
ma'am.
one students?
Then
Tyrosine. So conditionally essential amino acids means what? To form this
there is
cysteine, we need a precursor. We need a precursor that is methionine. And to form this tyrosine, we need a precursor that is what is the precursor for tyrosine? It is a phenylalanine. So if these two precursors are not there, then the cysteine and tyrosine cannot be formed. So that is why we say that these cysteine and tyrosine are called as conditionally essential amino acids. That means what? To form this amino acid, there is a condition that these two methionine and phenylalanine are required. So remember that conditional means just remember a mnemonic that is CT. So now what is the answer over here? Conditionally essential amino acid. So look at the option here, cysteine, tyrosine, CT. So this is the answer for over here. Next, highest protein content is in highest protein content. So the thing is that he is talking about the pulses, red gram, black gram, Bengal gram, soya protein. So these are the different types of what students? Pulses. Now among these
Absolutely.
pulses, which pulse has got lot and lot of protein? Last class also I told you. Among the pulses, who is the queen students? The queen of all the
So,
pulses? It's
soybean.
nothing
soya bean.
soya bean. This bean, no, she is the queen actually. She contains full and full amount of proteins. Now look at the table here. All this table are from Park textbook itself. So just go through, you open your textbook and see. Soya bean means yes, she is the queen. This queen has got everything in her. So the queen has got highest energy, that is 432 kilocalories per 100 grams, and she has also got lot of proteins, 43. So remember all this 43 kilocalories, 43 proteins. So everything she has got good amount only. Fat also it is more as compared to any other proteins. Yes. So fat is 19 grams. Calcium is also more in this female. That is soya bean. That is 240. So everything is more. But students, can you tell me what is this lady is deficient in soya bean? Soya bean is deficient in which one, students? If you observe this table
Vitamin
now, you should only answer.
Vitamin C.
Vitamin
vitamin
C.
C.
Now, who is the king in vitamin C?
Bengal
This
gram.
Amla.
boss. See, Bengal gram. He is a boss. And this fellow is what? Rich in A, B, C, D. Just remember, this fellow is always followed by which one? Vitamin C. So, Bengal gram is the only protein that contains good amount of vitamin C. It is not a great amount, but compared to other pulses, only this fellow Bengal gram has got lot of vitamin. But the queen protein, that is soya bean, is deficient in which one, students?
Vitamin C.
Vitamin
Vitamins.
C. Just remember these facts because questions are asked on this. Yes?
Okay, ma'am.
Now, pulses requirement of an adult male with sedentary lifestyle. Who are sedentary people? Students, tell me. Are we doctor sedentary people?
No.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh? Who said no?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good. Who said yes?
Roshan, ma'am.
Roshan. Very good. So, students, just remember that we sit much over here, but farmers, laborers, all these poor people, actually, they are the like heavy workers, actually. They work a lot and lot. But doctors and all technical people and all them professionals, they are under the category of sedentary people. So, we are all fall under the category of what? Sedentary people. So, if a sedentary adult male, now for that fellow, what is the pulse requirement? How much pulses we need to consume? Students, you only tell me now.
40 gram.
40 gram.
Yeah, it is 40 gram. Pulses means 40,
Fibers.
40 gram. If it is cereals, it is that is the carbohydrates and all rice and all. They need to consume how much, students? 460, because question has been asked. What is the carbo that is cereal and pulses to be consumed by an adult male or female, whatever it is. So the answer it should be what? If it is cereal, 460 grams. If it is pulses, it is 40.
40.
Cereals, it is three-digit number. Just remember ABC, cereal. That is 1, 2, 3. So it is a three-digit number, 460. And this pulses is a two-digit number. It is 40 gram. So remember this. Just these are the factual things. So 40 gram, don't forget it. If it is a female also, we need to consume how much, students? 40 gram is
40.
enough for us. Then the recommended protein intake of an Indian adult man according to 2010 guidelines. Now the previous question, if you see what is there, it is a like protein requirement. Pulse also contains proteins only, but here the question is per kg body weight. Per kg body weight, how much protein is required for an
0.8.
adult? Now they look at the table over here. So this table says that from 1 year, that is from 1 year till the adult age, what is the protein requirement? So remember, as the age advances, the protein requirement will be reduced. This is a fact you have to remember. From newborn till adolescence, the growth development takes place. We need a little bit higher quantity of protein per kg body weight. But as a person becomes adult, then protein requirement will be less. Now, if you see the table, adult man or woman, let it be any of them, male or female, it is 0.83 grams per kg per day. 1 day ke liye how much is required, students? 0.83 grams.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then who requires this 1.2 and all? It is neonates. Neonates, remember. Who is a neonate, student?
That,
Student from birth till 28 days. This
18.
point you have to remember, that is birth till 4 weeks, that is one month. So they are called as neonates. Then from birth till 1 year, they are called as what? Infants.
in fact,
Infants. So for a neonate, the protein requirement per kg per day is how much? 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kg per day. This point you remember because questions has been asked related to this. Okay, now anyway, the question I want to show you here. Total requirement of a neonate. Students, now you want to tell me who is a neonate?
0 to 28.
Up to 8 months.
Yeah, 0 to 28 days. That is up till 4 weeks. Yes, 7 fours are how much in it? It is 28.
1.5.
So it is 1.2 to 1.5 gram. We know this number, right? So just look at the option 5. This one is the amount of the protein that is required by an neonate. Yes, any doubt, students?
No, ma'am.
If the instead of neonate, if we ask infant, infant means what? Who is up to 1 year of age. Now, if the infant is asked, then opt for 1.2 grams. Yes. Next, pulses are deficient in.
Ma'am.
Yeah, PM is deficient with CM. This is what the mnemonic.
Methionine and
Prime Minister is deficient with the Chief Minister. So this is what mnemonic I want to tell you. P means pulses. This fellow pulses is deficient with which one, students? Cysteine
methionine and
and methionine. Yes.
Mm.
So pulses are deficient with which one,
Next.
student? Cysteine and methionine. Now look at the option. Cysteine is anyway not given. Now let us see if
Methionine.
methionine is there or no. Yeah, methionine is there. So this is the answer for pulses is deficient in. Shall I stop it here, students, or you want me to continue? Tomorrow shall I take? Students,
ma'am, any other MCQ?
hello.
Ma'am, any other MCQ? You can
Yeah,
continue,
it
ma'am.
is there. Actually, MCQs are there.
You
You
can,
want me to discuss today, or should I continue it tomorrow at the same time or the time, whichever you people prefer?
ma'am, if there is some MCQ, then you can continue. If
Shall I
there is
continue? It is okay with others also. Jay,
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Continue.
shall I continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Akash, Smriti. Okay. Now, coming to the next MCQ point here. Vitamin, just a second. Now, before going to the vitamin A, I want to just give you the factual things over here. Just look at the question here. A man weighing 68 kilograms. The weight of this man is how much? 68 kilograms. And he consumes how much, students?
325.
325 grams of carbohydrate. If pen and paper is there, all of you try to calculate it. So because these are the some questions, it can be asked in the present type of MCQs. So 325 grams of carbohydrates, 65 grams of proteins, that is 65 grams of proteins, then 35 grams of fat. So what is the fat consumption? 35 grams of the fat. Now the most applicable statement here is, now the thing what he is asking, his total calorie intake is 3000 kilocalories. Let us see, let us try to calculate and find out this. The proportion of protein, fats, carbohydrate is correct and is in accordance with a balanced diet. Now he has a negative nitrogen balance. 30% of his total energy intake is derived from fat. Now this is what is the options given for you. Yeah, students, tell me how to answer this question. How will you solve this?
Ma'am, according to balance diet, ma'am.
Huh?
According to balance diet,
Yeah,
that
tell
is
me. Should I solve this question? Huh?
means,
Okay,
ma'am,
now look at the.
protein
Tell
should
me.
be 10 to 50% of energy, or fat should be 10 to 30% of energy. If we calculate in that manner, carbohydrate
Yeah.
should be 60 to 70% of the energy. If we calculate
Yes.
in that manner,
Hmm. So I'll only solve this and I'll show you. So now look at the table over here. So this table, it says that if you take carbohydrate, no, 1 gram of carbohydrate, it will yield how much energy? 4.1 kilocalories per day. Now the question, in this question, it is given that he has consumed 325 grams of carbohydrate. Now what we will do? 325 into how much, students? 4.1.
4
Now how much it will be? 325 into 4.1 means
1332.5.
1332. Do you
332.5.
all agree with this? Yes. Now 65 grams of proteins. So proteins, this fellow has consumed how much? 65 grams. Now let us see. Per gram, how much is the energy yielded? It is 4.2. So
2.
let us multiply this. 65 into 4.2, how much it is? It
273.
is
273, ma'am.
270, 273. Others, are you all getting it? Jayashree and all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let us see what the fat, how much this fellow has consumed. He has consumed how much? 35 grams of the
35
fat. 35 into 9. Fat is lot of energy, right? So 35 into 9 kilocalories. So what is the total energy yielded? 35 into 9, how much it is?
315.
315.
15.
Okay. I'm just believing you people, students, because I'm not calculating here. So now let us add up all these values. So 133, 1332, this is for what? Carbohydrates. Plus protein, how much it is? 270. Then fats, how much it is? 350. Now add up all this. What is the total energy yielded? Just add up all these values.
Ma'am,
1332 plus 273 plus 315. How much it is?
ma'am, 315 plus 1332 plus 273.
How much it is? Others also calculate and let me know.
1920, ma'am.
One
19.
nine 1920, right? Okay. Now let us see the so this is the amount of the total calorie this particular person has consumed. How much? 1920, right? Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Now what you do know? 1332 divided by how much? 1920. That is the total energy into 100. Just calculate this and tell me. Jayashree, Vikas, Sirisha, Akash, Smriti, Roshan, and
Ma'am,
others. 1332, that is carbohydrate, divided by the total energy multiplied by 100. You tell me how much it is.
uh,
Calculate and tell me, no?
ma'am 69.3.
Huh?
69.3.
69.3 percentage. Now for proteins, how much it is? 273. Okay. Divided by 1920 into 100. How much it is? How much?
1 minute.
Yeah. Usually calculate
14.2.
because in your
14,
examination you have to calculate by yourself and answer all these questions.
14.2, ma'am.
How much? 14 point.
14.2.
Okay, 14.2%. Then fat. So fat is how much? 315 kilocalories divided by 1920 into multiplier is 100. So how much you calculate and let me know? 315 divided by 1920 into 100. How much?
16.4.
Huh?
16.4.
16.4. Now all my calculations are done. Now let us see. His total calorie intake is how much? 3000, the first option. Do you think this first option is right here?
No.
No. Are you all catching the point or no, students? It is
Yes,
wrong
ma'am.
because for this
Why?
question, this fellow's calorie, how much calories energy he has got of consuming this carbohydrate protein and fat in this amount. So the total energy this fellow has got is 1920. So it is definitely lesser than this 3000 kilocalories. So first option is wrong. Now let us see the other one. The proportion of proteins, fats, and carbohydrate is correct, and it is in accordance with the balanced diet. Now let us
Yes,
see
ma'am.
carbohydrate. We have calculated the percentage, right? So carbohydrate, how much it is? 69.3%. Yes. So is it falling in this range actually? Definitely
Yes, ma'am.
70%. In between only it is there. 69.3%. Okay, it is within that range only. Then what about the proteins? It should be protein daily intake should be how much? 10 to 15%. And this fellow, what is the percent of protein he has taken?
14.
14.6%. And what about the fat? Look at here. The fat is
16.
16.4. So this fellow has consumed how much? Nearly 16.4% of the fat. So which is within the recommended range. So do you think that yeah, this fellow has taken proper amount of the proteins, fats, and carbohydrate. So this is in accordance with the balanced diet. Okay, I'm fine with this answer. Then what about the third option? Is he having a negative nitrogen balance? Negative nitrogen balance means what? Nitrogen is totally related to what? Protein.
Protein.
Two means what? He is deficient. Do you think this fellow is deficient in protein intake? No.
No, ma'am.
He is in the normal range only. So this option is also wrong. Then 30% of his total energy intake is derived from fat. Now, do you think he has taken so much of nearly 30% of fat? No.
No.
He's consumed only 16% of the fat. So this option is also wrong. And which option is right, students? The B one.
Yes, ma'am.
Now,
B1.
why did I take some time to solve this question is that all the present pattern of questions are this type of question only. So, are you all clear how to solve this type of questions?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Now, similar type of question here. A farmer of 70 kgs is consuming 56 grams of proteins, 275 grams of carbohydrates, and 60 grams of lipids. Now, he is consuming less calories, more calories, adequate calories, or there is no comment upon. So, this is the question that has been asked. Now, let us try to calculate this. So, now 56 into proteins. What is the multiplier here, students?
4.2.
0.2. Yes, do you all agree with this?
Yes, ma'am.
This is for proteins.
Yes,
Then what
ma'am.
about for the carbohydrates? How much carbohydrates he is consuming? 275 grams. That is
270.
275 into 4.1. We know all these numbers already. These are already pre-decided numbers. Then what about fat? Akash, how much this fellow is consuming
60.
the fat? 60 grams. And what should be the multiplier? Energy yielded is 9
9.1.
calories. Now
Kilo.
you people calculate and tell me 56 into 4.2, how much it is? At least use your mobile calculators or something and let me know.
235.
2,
35.
235. So by consuming proteins, this fellow is able to yield 235 kilocalories. Fine. Then carbohydrates, what is the energy yielded?
Two, so,
Yeah, tell me.
uh,
How much it is? Or others are there or no?
yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am, 1127.
1127. I'm actually believing you people only 1127, right? And then what about the fat? From fat, how much energy this fellow has got?
546.
How much? 5?
46.
546 kilocalories. Now you add up all these values. 235 plus 1127 plus 546. Just add up all these values.
2800.
2800. Yes?
Sorry, ma'am.
So,
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
how much?
235 plus
Yeah, Jayashree and others also calculate and let me know. No? Smriti, Akarsh,
1908, ma'am.
1908. Do you all agree with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this particular farmer, he has gained how much energy by consuming this much amount of protein, carbohydrate, and fat? He has gained how much, students? 1908 kilocalories. Now the question is asked that the amount of food, whatever he is consumed, is it less for him, or it has given more energy, or is it adequate, or we don't know. This is what is the question is asked for you. Now look at
Less,
your
ma'am.
farmer. The occupation is mentioned. Farmer is what, students? He is a heavy
Heavy,
worker. He is not
heavy
a
work.
sedentary. Remember, if the question is said a doctor is there or some engineer is there, that means what? He is a sedentary only. The question asked is farmer. Our focus should go over here also. So farmer means he is a heavy worker only. So this heavy worker, he has got 1908 kilocalories.
He
Now let
should.
us see whether this is sufficient for him or no. So for
No,
this,
ma'am.
what is required for us? We need to
Three
go
five
here with this table actually.
three
Just
five 3500, ma'am. It's required.
3490. So this is the amount of calories, that is 3490 is the actual amount of energy he requires, or kilocalories he requires per day to do that heavy work. So this is what the farmer is required, 3490. But in our solution, in our question, what is the energy this farmer is having? How much it is? 1900, somewhere around this particular thing. That means what, this farmer is having deficient amount of the calories. So
Yes,
can you say that it is less calories?
yes, ma'am.
Do you all agree with the students? Is it less
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
calories? So now let us try to solve this. So we know that the farmer requires somewhere around 3400 kilocalories of the energy per day. But the calculated, the our problem, our farmer has got 1900 kilocalories. Now do you think this farmer is deficient? Yes. He's got less calories over here. Definitely not more, not adequate. So the answer to be chosen is which one, students? It
Less
is
calories.
less calories. So you need to understand the concept. You need to be quick enough in calculating. Then you need to know to choose the right answer over here. Yes. Next is optimum calories to be provided by protein should be. That means what, here the question, look at here. If the person is consuming protein, this protein should give how much energy? This table you have to remember. There is no other option. So from the protein, how much energy is required?
10 to
10 to
15%.
15%.
15% of the energy contribution the protein should give. If it is fat means it is 15 to 30%. Carbohydrate means 50 to 70. So now look at the option here. So it is B1, 10 to 15%. Do you all agree with this? So the B is
Yes.
the right option over here. Is it too much for you, or should I continue tomorrow, students?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow shall I continue? What time should I
Okay.
continue, students?
Ma'am, this time.
Huh?
Wednesday.
This 8 o'clock is fine with you. So now what
Okay.
I want to know, you people go through your previous MCQs of community medicine and try to solve the questions as much as possible by you. So that you can only solve many MCQs. Any doubts, you can ask me tomorrow. I'll try to help to solve those questions also. Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So now today, what all we have learned, we have seen the fruits, we have seen some of the kilocalories, how to calculate them, and how to see whether this person is having sufficient energy or no. So all these points we have seen. Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
and related to breast milk also, so many points we have discussed, and all those points can be asked as an MCQ for you. So tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock, we'll meet.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay. Chalo, see you all tomorrow then.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Bye.
ma'am.